everybody. My name is Charles Spencer Chaplin. I was born in London, England on April 16, 1889. My mother, Anna Chaplin, was an actress, and my father, well, I don't like to talk about my father. When I was little, we didn't have much money. Mother didn't have a job, and father left us when I was just 1. I had to work in a warehouse when I was 7. Ever since I was 5, my dream was to be an actor. Even though I had many jobs, I joined an English dancing group called the 8 Lancashire Lads when I turned 10. We toured England for a few years, but dancing wasn't enough. I wanted to be a comedian. I joined many different acting groups in England throughout my teens until my brother, Sidney Chaplin, got me into Fred Karno's acting company. Karno, however, was worried I would not perform well. His doubts vanished after my opening night, when I got more applause than the star. Karno made me perform as many characters, and my success quickly grew. Then, when I was 21, Fred Karno sent me to America on a tour. The Americans loved me. They loved me so much that they called for my return in 1912. When I went again, something amazing happened. I was offered a movie contract to work with the Keystone Film Company. They put me in a movie right away, called The Kid Auto Races at Venice. They even let me choose my own costume, which, by the way, stuck. I was known as the Tramp. Here is a little clip from the film. In the midst of my success with Keystone, many film companies were offering me more and more money to come work for them. My Keystone contract ended in 1915, and I decided to sign a contract with the S&A company. They put me in a small office in Niles, Fremont, California, where I was pretty much free to do as I pleased. I recruited my own cast and directed my own work. We made several successful films like A Night Out and The Champion. However, the boss and I didn't get along at all, and I left only a year after I had started. Luckily for me, there was no shortage of opportunity. By now, I was a star in America, which is why I was so sought after by so many film groups. Eventually, I decided to sign with the Mutual Film Corporation. I mean, how could I turn down an offer of $670,000 a year? In today's money, that's more than $13 million every year. Anyway, my LA studio opened in 1916, and my cast and I set off to work. We were required by contract to produce 1 film every 4 weeks, a goal we met. 1916 saw some of the happiest years of my career, and classic films such as The Rink and 1 AM. "1 AM" was the first short where I was the only actor, besides the taxi driver at the very beginning. My movie contract with the Mutual Film Corporation ended in 1917, and I was signed by the First National Film Group. My most famous film from this partnership was released in 1921, titled The Kid. However, I was starting to grow tired of the boss' constant interference with my work, so in 1919, I founded the United Artists Film Distribution Group with a group of other actors. With United, I was able to assert much more control over my films. I released The Gold Rush in 1925 and The Circus in 1928, both of which starred me. These two films remain some of my most popular. Moving on, I never really supported sound movies, which they called talkies. Talk, talk, talk. I always believed that one could tell a story much better with action than with sound. However, throughout the 1930s, I could see that silent films were starting to seem old-fashioned, so I gave in and produced my first sound film in 1940. Titled The Great Dictator, it was nominated for several Academy Awards.
This is the Happy Hour program. Make your work a pleasure. Move with the rhythm of music. Our next selection, Brahms' Hungarian Dance, number 5.
As World War II came and went, I found myself under pressure by the FBI, who called me a suspected communist. I argued my innocence to no end, but it was not enough. In 1952, when I traveled to London for the premiere of another film, the FBI revoked my entry permit. I decided I'd had enough, and I moved to Vevey, Switzerland with my wife and children. I continued work throughout the 50s and 60s, but I soon began to grow old and frail. After my brief return to the USA in 1972, it became much worse. I was knighted in 1975 by Queen Elizabeth II. Charlie Chaplin passed away on December 25, 1977. He will always be remembered as one of the greatest actors to ever have graced the stage.